Hello and welcome to Daytona Beach, Florida. Welcome to the Ocean Center Arena and welcome to the official Strongman Games 2021. It has been 740 days since we've seen the official Strongman Games happen back in 2019. For the obvious reasons, because of a lockdown, but we are back, and for the next 3 days we have a festival of strength in front of us. Hundreds of top strong men and strong women, all competing from over 20 countries. This is set to be an absolute belter. 9 titles on the line, and to talk us through all of the action over the next 72 hours, Big Loz, aka Lawrence Charlie. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well and extremely excited to be here. This is an absolutely epic event. I've never seen so many athletes at an event before. Lots of organisation has gone into making this event happen. Obviously, we've had many things that have happened over the last year, but the team have put on hours and hours of work to make this happen. All the athletes are ready. I've just been out in the backstage. There's nerves out there, as you would expect, but we're going to see some incredible performances. New world champions to be decided, and potential big stars for the future of World's Strongest Man, Giants Live. Some of the best athletes have come through this format, and I'm really looking forward to watching and seeing the performances that we see from these gentlemen and ladies. Talking
about performances, very shortly we'll be hearing the national anthem by Gillian Cook, who's in the under 64 kilo category herself, so she'll be performing the national anthem, and then we'll have probably about 15-20 minutes before she's then competing herself. Now we have 6 events spread over the 3 days, 2 events on each day. Today we're focusing on log press and car walk. What can we look forward to specifically with the log press, Loz?
Well, we have Zydrunas Savickas competing in the Masters today, and obviously one of the greatest log lifters of all time. He looks massive. I saw him backstage. He looks like he's come in this meaning business. So Zydrunas is here. Going to get to see him on the log, which is going to be... It's always a pleasure to watch Zydrunas on the log. I'm excited to see some of the new faces. I know there's some athletes that have really upped their standard in the log press, and the way they're doing it in this contest, they only have to clean the log once. So it's one clean to the chest and then press as many times as possible, which is a little different to some other shows. So I think we could see some decent numbers. I think we're going to have a real mix. I think some athletes will really struggle, maybe get 1 rep will be a PB for a lot of them, and then we're going to have other athletes that can get double figures. There's going to be a real mix, and the real key to being successful in this event is to not have a bad event. I think with so many athletes in your class, say you've got 30 guys in there, if you drop a lot of points in one event, it's an awful long way back. So being consistent, aiming to be top 10 in every event, that's the way you're going to score big points, and you're going to have the chance of getting through to day 3 and really challenging for the podium.
So we think about a Giants Live where you perhaps have 10 or 12 competitors, where a bad event means that you may get 2 points versus 10 points, but in this, there's almost an element that it's about having the least worst event rather than perhaps skying a particular event and getting, say, first, last would be a disaster here.
Absolutely, yeah, it's so many points to try and catch up on, so having no weaknesses is going to be key.
That's really interesting. Well, like I say, very shortly we're going to be hearing the national anthem. We're going to get into the technicalities of things, no doubt. But Loz, again, we're used to seeing some colossal human beings lifting colossal weights. In this scenario, we're almost seeing people not that much heavier than myself. I'm 74 kilos. These guys are not that much heavier than me, certainly when they weighed in yesterday, which kind of adds a new dimension to this.
Yeah, again, I mean, we're starting with the under 64 kilo women. These are small framed athletes. They have to do things a little differently to the big giants that we see at Giants Live or World's Strongest Man. But pound for pound, their power output is incredible. And it's going to be amazing to watch what these guys and girls can do. When you think you're going to have 64 kilo women carrying a car, that's pretty impressive.
Well, we're about to hear something else impressive, and that is Gillian Funk performing the national anthem of the United States of America.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
What a brilliant way to kick things off. The Official Strongman Games 2021. That was Gillian Cook. And I tell you what, Loz, I don't know an awful lot about singing, but what I do know is what doesn't help you is grunting and getting yourself in the best physical condition, but not necessarily the best vocal condition. So that was special.
That was brilliant. I mean, she's out there, belt on and everything, ready to go and lift the log, and she could still, you know, manage to do that. That's impressive. I wouldn't have been able to do that, but my voice would be gone already. I'd be out the back getting myself fired up.
And what's amazing as well, you know you're in America because when the national anthem happens, a deathly silence fell across the Ocean Center Arena. People were so ready to hear that. And also, it's not that many times we have audiences at places now. We're allowed to be close again. We're allowed to see sports up close and personal. It is great to be in America, and kudos to all of the Official Strongman guys for arranging this, because there have been so many logistical nightmares. On your mate with Liz on Big Loz Official, you were talking about the fact that Lynn essentially had set up national interest exemptions for everyone to be here. In the end, didn't need them.
Yeah.
But what a real kind of testimony to all the logistics this is.
Lynn has gone through so many headaches to make this happen. He really has worked tirelessly to put this event on, and I know all the athletes are really appreciative of that. They're all keen to show us what they're capable of because they work hard to this level. It's not something that you just kind of have a go at and suddenly you're good. You know, it takes a long time to develop the skills and the strength that these athletes have. They want a big platform to perform. It's one thing doing shows in car parks and small places. This is an arena where we have the best athletes on the planet, and I love that the lighter weight classes are getting a bit more recognition now. You know, you're someone that loves the gym, but you're never going to be a freaky, you know, Evan Singleton or Zadrunas or something like that, whereas you can really relate a little bit more to these athletes. And when you suddenly see, I mean, the women today, under 64 kilo women will be lifting just shy of 80 kilos for reps. How much do you weigh?
Less than 80 kilos.
There we go. So they're going to be lifting more than you, throwing you overhead as many times as possible.
It really is remarkable. And when you put it into those sort of terms, it really is something special. Let's make no mistake here. We are talking about the World Championships for these guys. To win this means you are the absolute best in the world in your category. And we can now hand over to Aaron West, our MC, who's announcing the three athletes rather, in our first group
and
of the
also
Loch Ness.
representing the United States in lane number 4, Joelle Pesci.
So there is Cassandra, Nadia and Joelle, our first athletes out. It's the women's under 64 kilogram category.
Athletes, take your positions.
So if you are watching in America, it's 175 pounds, or for our European counterparts, just shy of 80 kilograms, 79.4 kilograms to be precise.
Now, I remember my first ever strongman contest. I did a 90 kilo log, so 10 kilos more than the ladies doing here. And I only managed 5 reps.
On the whistle.
So that will give you an idea of what level we're looking at.
And notice they walked up to the log, nobody ran.
They've got 60 seconds.
How important is the efficiency on the clean for this one, Loz?
It's really important to be efficient because you're trying to get every single ounce of that weight that they have into each movement. Now you can see the thickness and the diameter of these logs. It looks massive on these 64 kilo women. When we see the likes of Zadrunas holding it, he's got that big frame he can balance. The technique of all 3 ladies here is very good, but it's just showing the level that we've set out. 80 kilos, 79 kilos it is exactly. This is a massive, monstrous weight. Now all 3 women are managing to get it racked nicely, but so far none of them have been able to press it overhead.
And we're seeing 2 of them going for a split jerk. In fact, all of them going for the split jerk.
You'll often see this with the lighter weight classes. They learn to use their whole body in the movements, whereas maybe some of the bigger athletes, they can focus on that huge triceps and shoulders.
So that just putting into context there, just the real feat of attempting to do what these people are trying to do. So yet to get a score on the door. So simply getting one rep really will put the cat amongst the pigeons in this one.
And I think looking at the weights that we've got selected for all the weight classes, you know, we're going to see a lot of people struggle. These are big, elite level weights to cope with. But I still believe we'll see a few athletes really, you know, get close to double figures, maybe even into the double figures.
So one Brit in this group of 4, Kim, Christine, Hannah and Kate. Can any of these ladies manage to get one clean rep? All of our referees here, very experienced guys in their own right, and they'll be requiring, just like Magnus Ver Magnussen, a man who's very strict with his refereeing, they will need that to be held and kept under control before that's an official rep.
So we've got Kate Connolly from the UK in lane 4. Hannah is in the rack position there in lane 3 and lane 2. Are we going to have our first press there? Christine getting a rep in lane 2. And Kate Connolly, I believe, got the rep there. There we go.
Oh, there we are. This is how you do it. Look at this here, total composure.
Look at this. Now this is powerful. Look at this tricep strength. We're not seeing any jerk movements. This is a good old-fashioned push press. Good solid leg drive, and then using those triceps to finish off the lift. This is exceptionally impressive.
How hard is it to keep it on your chest, Lars, without sort of losing air in your lungs?
It's very difficult, particularly, as I say, when you look at the frame of these ladies, they're not 150 kilo monsters, 300 plus pound monsters. The diameter of these logs is 13 inches, which is very, very big. And it forces the log into your throat. Your head is looking straight up into the air. All they'll be seeing is the roof, and that can kind of throw you off a little. It's not like a press in the gym with a bar where you can keep quite upright. You've got to kind of lean back, and that puts a lot of strain on the lower back.
And even a military press of 80 kilograms is nothing to shirk at. And to do that with a log and to do that at under 65 kilograms, phenomenally impressive. You can see
really impressive performance there by Kate.
And we see Rhiannon Lovelace embracing her friend there. So much camaraderie amongst the strongman and strong women community here.
It's got a real mix of nations in this heat. England, Canada, USA and Norway represented.
I mentioned Rhiannon Lovelace there. She'll be going in the 5th group. Definitely somebody to keep an eye out for here, a brutally strong woman. But as for our 3rd group here, we now have a number to beat.
So all 4 ladies managing to clean the log, no problem. Holly there managing to press out quite comfortably. Another good rep there.
Thick legs from Holly, very, very strong. Lots, how much does it take out of you when you're making those adjustments that we're seeing with Holly? We're seeing her, she went for the extension, she took a couple of steps back, got it controlled back down to her chest, versus if her feet were planted and she didn't have to make that.
It varies from athlete to athlete. Some athletes actually like to reset the log on the floor, get air in again, and then go through the motion of the actual clean often helps them get the log set in the right position. Other athletes, they do like to just kind of press out from the rack. They'll get into that momentum and that rhythm of your technique's just firing, and you can bang out a few reps in a row.
Now again, what we're seeing here, the volunteers coming in. The volunteers are going to make the adjustment to the log. So we've seen 2 logs pressed at 175 pounds or 79.4 kilos. It now gets raised by 10 pounds. So it's at 83.9 kilos or 185 pounds. That's what will happen as we change the groups. That will get raised in at under 73 kilograms. As for us now, it's 175 pounds on the log.
I've been told to look out for Laurie, the Canadian athlete. I've never seen her compete myself, but I've been told good things by Mr. Anthony Furman. I've seen a lot of these athletes.
Well, Chloe Brennan is actually the lightest person, the lightest female to ever successfully lift the Dinnie stones. Former England
Chloe is absolutely amazing. Let's see what these girls can do.
USA, Canada and England.
You just see a lot of them just stabilising themselves, trying to get that air in. See if these ladies can get this log overhead, locked out. Trying to get every ounce into it. Can we get it locked out? I think we had a good rep there.
Also, every log so nuanced. There is no one uniform size log, whether it's wooden, whether it's metal.
These 13-inch diameter logs are very sort of commonly found in strongman contests. This is the diameter you expect to see in most shows. But it really does throw you off. It forces you to lean back so far.
And what about the length of them, Loz? Because sometimes hear people talking about if you have, for example, a narrow one, as we saw at the Arnold's, people had a lot of stabilisation issues. What about this one here from a length standpoint?
As you can see, I mean, you know, these logs are not just thick, they're wide as well, and that adds to the awkwardness. It's a brutal event to start off with. We've got a very popular athlete here, Rhiannon Lovelace, former world record holder in the deadlift, still the world record holder for a weight class, but at one point she was the open weight record holder as well, which is incredible when you think she is in the lightest weight class that we have.
Also knows the way around an Atlas stone as well, doesn't she, mate?
She does. She's a great athlete, but all four of these athletes will be looking to get reps today. Shannon Clifford, also from England. And you can hear the cheers for Rhea already. So she prefers a deadlift, but her log lift has improved loads. And look at the power there to lock out for Rhiannon. Already bangs out 2 reps, no problem. Shannon getting a good rep on the end. Shannon gets another good rep locked out. Completely different technique to Rhiannon, who's using every ounce of that body to jerk the weight overhead. Rhiannon more of a push press, a strong triceps. Good solid lockout again.
She has not put the log down once, Rhiannon.
Shannon there getting the air in while she was locked out, ready to jerk again.
Look at the tricep
Can
strength.
re-lock this rep out? Yes, she does. Gets another good rep. She'll be extremely happy with that.
For the entire 60 seconds, Loz, she did not put that log down.
It was an exceptional performance, and the log, although she's great at it, it's not her best event. So that's big points for Rhiannon then. She'll be very excited with that.
Hello and welcome back to the official Strongman Games 2021. We come to you live from Daytona Beach, Florida at the Ocean Center Arena. It has been absolutely awesome action so far. We've seen the log press. We've seen 9 particular titles attempted to be defended. And Loz, mate, well, straight away, Loz, this is a sight I've never seen before, but it's a sight I absolutely love.
It just looks fantastic. I mean, we've got the 3 ladies in this first heat. Look at this, they're all set up in the individual cars. 259 kilos, 570 pounds for our under 64 kilo female athletes.
Athletes ready, judges ready, on the whistle.
And they are off, up and running. And in lane number 1, Cassandra taking the lead, a solid lead. Can she keep this beetle stable? This is the key now. Unlike a yoke, you get the side-to-side action. You also get the forward and backwards movement with these cars. So it kind of taxes your core a lot more than your normal super yoke event would. These are big weights that these ladies are moving.
A quarter of a ton.
And I believe that white line on the tyre has to cross over. And she's got there.
I mean, it's not often that you see people this light able to walk with a car.
It's certainly not your everyday sight, Radzi.
What a brilliant first race that was. And actually, again, so we're used to often seeing the absolute cream of the crop in terms of the largest humans on Earth lifting large objects. So you often see cars move very quickly. This is really interesting, seeing, if you like, the difficulty of doing it when you're a fairly non-superhuman.
Well, I think all these athletes are superhuman,
Ditto.
but yes, you know, the tiny frames in comparison to your heavyweight strongman, perhaps. You know, they don't have that thickness in the midsection, the huge legs that you see in. Now, they've all had the opportunity to lift this car already, though, so I'm not sure everyone's going to do that.
Interesting, okay.
And with the under 64 kilos, there's no weight added to the car, so it's just the frame of the car, weighs 259 kilos in total. Should be fairly balanced.
Wow, that was quick. That was a quick...
Good pickup there in lane 2. Hannah Cauldron going nicely. Nice and steady. Good steady steps. She's starting to slow down, but she's got to keep moving. Keep those feet moving. She does not want to stop.
Again, all of these athletes didn't manage to get a rep in the log press. These are important points.
There we go. She's back up, moving nicely. One more big effort. Get that front tyre across the line. You can see how challenging this is for these young ladies. This is a monstrous weight that they're carrying on their back.
250 kilograms.
She really went off quickly, but you can just see the fatigue kicked in. But she manages to finish, gets across the line. I believe she's across. There we go. And the relief on Hannah's face there.
I mean, when you think about squatting, even a partial of 250 kilos, then the idea of walking with that weight for anything more than a few steps, pretty unimaginable.
Well, they are not only being crushed, they're being crushed and told that they've got to sprint with the car, you know, the car at the same time. The key to moving fast with this is short, fast steps. You don't want to run with it. That's a mistake a lot of people make. You try and run with it, it's just too much pressure through the knees. You've got to actually move through your hips. So just shuffle through the hips, fast little steps. You see on the end there in lane number 4, Chloe Brennan moving really fast. Fast feet. They're not coming up high off the ground, just shuffling along. That was a perfect run there by Chloe. What a performance from the British athlete. And she's going to be extremely happy with herself with that performance.
Well, Chloe Brennan didn't manage a single rep in the log press. And I'll tell you what, that was a night and day performance there. From disaster in the log to rejoice in the car walk.
I mean, this shows how impressive that performance was, because you've got 3 young ladies here that haven't even gone halfway along this course. And Chloe was finished celebrating and back off now to cheer on the rest of her competitors.
And something tells me that's actually going to be a time to beat for all the women.
That
here.
was exceptional, you know. Really, really impressive performance.
One thing that's also worth pointing out with these particular tyres is sometimes you have loose wheels, meaning that if you touch the concrete, you can kind of continue. You can sort of touch and go. With this,
they're fixed, aren't they?
They're fixed, and it just sticks.
Yeah, when I was watching the guys and girls get measured up yesterday, you see some athletes that don't want to take much clearance. I would be going for quite a big amount of ground clearance on this, because you do not want the tyres touching the floor. If they dig in, suddenly you stop you dead in your tracks. You want good clearance so that if you do have some movement through the car, you have room for error.
Now, behind us here, Loz, is Wesley Claiborne. Now, Wes is currently leading in the open category after his incredible 6 reps in the log. Now, I said to him, I said, mate, you look like you've put on a lot of weight since I last saw you in Giants Live North Americas. And he said, I've actually lost weight, but I've put on a lot of muscle. Sorry, I've lost fat, but I've put on a lot of muscle. Now, he also said, I guarantee you I'll win the stones.
Nice. Nice and steady progress here through most of the athletes. Look at the strain. You can just see through the screen there the effort that is being put into carrying this car.
And this reminds us of just how impressive Chloe's performance was.
Yeah, when an athlete just blitzes it like that, they almost make it look easy, but this reminds you how incredible it really was.
This reminds me of seeing a certain yoke performance in Dubai about 3 years ago, when a certain Laurent Charlet made it look like an absolute toy that he walked with, and nobody else managed to get it across the line.
Those were the days, mate. Very good performance there and a happy smile. She's very pleased with herself.
So you may recognise Gillian because she was the singer of the national anthem at the very start of the event. And it went from angelic, cherub-like singing to brutal strength and effort from Gillian. Great performance from her, but Chloe Brennan still very much the one to beat in this one.
Chloe's time, I think, is going to be hard for anyone to beat. And the car and the weight of the car just take you. So you need to make sure you keep in control. Now here we have our leaders. Holly McRae, Kate Connolly, Rhiannon Lovelace and Shannon Clifford. Our star performers in the log lift. How will they perform in the car walk?
This will be absolutely fascinating.
Rhiannon there looking absolutely focused in lane 3. And there's Shannon Clifford.
You see, again, normally at this point, it'd be third versus fourth, first versus second.
Yeah, I love this four athletes head to head. And they are off.
Who's off first? Who's off first?
I think it's Shannon Clifford into lead, but then we have Kate Connolly perhaps just sneaking ahead there. She looks very good in lane 2.
Well, Chloe's time safe.
Chloe is safe with the win, but a very impressive run there by Kate Connolly. Goes across the line, wins this heat. Rhiannon was a bit more steady, comes and takes second place. Shannon was going very well there, but she just went down before the finish line. It allowed the more steady Rhiannon to come in and take second place. Then we have Holly McRae struggling a little more, about halfway across the course so far. She's back up, still moving, but I think she's had enough. But this showed you how impressive Chloe's performance was there. 13.5 seconds, takes first place. Big points from the English lady. She needed that after the log lift. Good, solid performance by your favourites there. Kate Connolly and Rhiannon Lovelace both scoring big points.
And I'm going to chuck it out there that Kate, that will at least be good enough for top 3. And if that's good enough for top 3, she really has had a fantastic first couple of events.
Oh, she has not put a foot wrong this first day of the contest.
Good afternoon, hello and welcome to the 2021 official Strongman Games. We come to you live from Daytona Beach in Florida. It is day 2. Day 1 was an absolutely special set of events. We saw some fantastic strongmen and strongwomen from around the world. In fact, over 22 countries represented here. Yesterday we saw the log press. We also saw the car walk. Today we're about to see Deadlift as ever. I'm joined by Big Loz himself, Laurent Charlet, and we've got another fantastic day ahead, mate.
We do indeed. 164kg women and the deadlift medley ladder. 5 deadlifts, starting with 315 pounds, moving up to 365 pounds, 405 pounds for the third lift here, where Gillian is currently attempting.
And to put this into context, to finish with a 200 plus kilo deadlift at 64 kilograms body weight is crazy. I mean, look at this here.
Look at this effort. Can she hitch it up? Needs to get the hips through. Just got to make sure those knees are locked out. Gets the good lift.
At 10 in the morning, this is asking a lot.
So she's using the straps now. And we're going to see this. I mean, if the athletes have the grip strength, it's really going to be a big advantage where you don't have to strap up to the bars. Every rep is timed. So as well as lifting these weights, it's all about speed as well.
Now, just to add a little bit of context in terms of points on the door, so we're seeing these athletes go in reverse order. Now, we saw yesterday it began with the log press, and one of the points we were talking about throughout the day is the importance of not zero repping. That's had a consequence on the 19 athletes that we're seeing compete here. It's led, and it's very, very close at the very top. The top three are separated by just 2 points. Kate Connolly, Rhiannon Lovelace and Shannon Clifford, 36, 35 and 34 points.
We have Jessica Wong and Laura McDougall from Canada here. Both athletes opting to use the straps early on. I think as we get through the ladies, we may see some of the big deadlifters, such as Rhiannon Lovelace, trying to get through as many of these as she can without using the straps. So Laurie from Canada here on the 4th lift. Look at this, can she get that bar over her knees? It's still going up. She's gonna have to push those knees through now.
So close, can she lock it? So close. Oh my goodness.
The effort that this young lady is putting in. Wow, so close there. You have to give her a star for effort there. Technique could do with improving a little bit. She was very rounded in the back, which really affected her lockout position. She was unable to get the hips through nice and quick, so she'd had to resort to pushing the knees forward and then hitching the weight up.
The figure of 8 straps, Loz, do they, because it's almost one size fits all, does it therefore not give us much of an effect if you do have thinner wrists and you're a slightly smaller person?
These days they have started doing different sized figure of 8, so they do have like smaller, medium, large. To cope with that, you get some of the big heavyweight guys with their thick wrists compared to the smaller women. They have had to change sizes. So now they do take all these things into account. It's our first group of 3 here. Lane number 3 there, Holly McRae, looking really strong on these first early lifts. Goes for the straps on deadlift number 3, which is 405 pounds. Still goes up strong with that. 435 this 4th lift. 435 pounds is just shy of 200 kilos, 197.3 to be exact.
When it comes to the business end of this, especially when it comes to, say, the open men, the masters men, how important will it be for guys who perhaps don't necessarily use straps, so they can just go onto the bar, grip it and pull?
If they can do these without using straps, it's going to be a big, big advantage. Now, obviously in Strongman, straps are allowed and they've been used for many years, so most of the guys will use straps in training. But someone like Mark Felix, who's got an exceptionally strong grip, lifters coming from a powerlifting background as well, they're used to deadlifting just focusing on a reverse grip or a hook grip. If they are strong enough to pull it without the straps, that is a huge advantage in this event. The time you think that you'd save just not attaching yourself to the bar.
Exactly.
And also with the figure of 8 straps, you can't get off the bar quickly either. So, I mean, if I was going to use straps, I probably wouldn't use the figure of 8s myself, just because they do take that little longer to get on and particularly get off. If I felt my grip was strong enough and I was in good enough shape, I'd try and do the whole lot without straps.
Oh, would you?
I was always a fan of testing grip strength, so. But it is heavy. I think the men are up near 800 and something pounds, so. Nice and easy lift for all 3 lifters. Christine in the middle going nicely here, still pulling through strong. Now if she can be fast on this one, she could put herself into 1st place.
See, a little bit of time to get those straps in. She looks like she's practiced that because that was very fluid.
Yeah. She needs to get that bar over the knees. She's using the hitching technique, trying to just get that locked down. There we go, gets a down signal.
I think as well it's worth pointing out, when it comes to something like this, if you know you're only going to get perhaps 3 successful lifts, you want to do them as quickly as possible, so that therefore, if it comes to getting the 3 lifts, you'll be the first out of those who manage to get 3.
Yeah, definitely. You got to go with tactics, and if you don't think you're capable of some of the heavyweights, get through those early ones as fast as possible.
we can have Pepsi, Concepcion, and...
Now, the athletes are coming thick and fast on this. The beautiful thing is you see the volunteers in the grey, they're making sure that the athletes get into the right place at the right time, but they're also then readjusting and realigning all of the deadlift bars to make sure that each athlete has the same setup as the one before.
So we have our next 3 athletes coming out now.
The athletes take your positions.
It's an all USA affair.
Judges ready. Athletes ready. On the whistle.
Here we go.
£315 fast.
Good solid pull there for Cassandra in lane number 2.
Jody and Cassandra both good. On to 405 pounds.
Can she get the bar over her knees? She needs to squeeze those hips through. Gets the down signal from the referee.
Concepcion. On to 435 as well.
Huge amount of effort there to pull that 3rd rep. 183 kilos, 405 pounds. She's moving on to the 435. I think it's going to be a little bit too much.
15 seconds.
And so does she.
Under 10.
Lane number 3 there.
Look at the camaraderie amongst the athletes, cheering each other on massively.
The effort that these ladies are putting in. Just pure exhaustion there.
If we can have before lane 1, cold iron.
Giving absolutely everything of themselves.
So far, still, have we seen anyone pull the 435?
I don't think so. We had one athlete, in fact, come to think of it, mate, going back into my memory banks,
Yes.
Christine
Yes,
Matthews.
we did.
Two groups left.
So we come
Right now, our best
to our
bet
6th group.
135 pounds.
Hannah Cauldron, Nadia Morrison and Shannon Clifford from England.
Judges ready. Athletes ready. On the whistle.
Nice
Shannon
pull.
there, opting to not use the straps.
365 pounds in lane 2.
On to deadlift bar number 3. And she still pulls through strong.
Clifford blazing on.
She's looking strong here, mate.
20 seconds
Here we go. She needs to get this bar over her knees.
Oh, well
Squeeze the
done.
hips through. Good, solid lockout there. Gets a down signal. And she moves on to the 470-pound deadlift on the mammoth bar. This is a 10-foot bar. Very, very wobbly as it gets towards the top.
This is sensible. She's taking her time here.
You just felt her back there by the looks of things. Just holding her lower back. A little concerned look in her face. Let's hope she's not done anything. But
10 seconds.
good points there for Shannon Clifford.
That was fast as well.
It was a good fast time. I think she may have gone into the lead.
So going against that, Christine Matthews was the leader. We wait to find out if Shannon Clifford has done enough to
Just limping
usurp
off
her.
a little bit there.
Yeah,
It's just
she
a little
is, mate.
concerning.
In
Yeah.
lane 2, Kate Connolly. In lane 3, Chloe Brennan.
And just a reminder, so we have 2 events today. We have the deadlift ladder, then we have the sandstone toss.
Now we have an athlete we really need to keep an eye on. Rhiannon Lovelace. She is a deadlift machine, Radzi.
She's deadly at the deadlift.
Under 64 kilo world record holder. Former open world record holder.
Unreal.
I think she's pulled around 272.5 kilos.
That's exactly what I thought it was. So is it Andrea Thompson, the open world record holder?
Not anymore. She's recently been beaten, but
Look how comfortable that is.
Rhiannon is going to fly through this. This is her event. And look at this. 405, nice and easy. On to the 435. None of these weights
My
have slowed her
goodness.
down yet. And still a very comfortable lift. She's going to bring the straps out for the big mammoth bar. 470 pounds, 213.2 kilos after already pulling 4 times. Wow! And Rhiannon just showing her dominance in the deadlift. Unbelievable lifting there.
Well, that's crucial because we're talking about the number 1, 2 and 3 in this group. Going into this, Rhiannon was in second place by 1 point. If she can pull it, can Connolly pull this?
No straps there as well. It's coming down into her fingertips, does not get the down signal. And Rhiannon offering the straps there. Maybe she was confident to go there without the straps. I would have had them on just for maybe that last lift. She knew Rhiannon was going to go ahead and dominate that lift. She just needed to finish off. If she had the straps, she would have got it, 100%. Nick Best.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah.
Nick Best behind us, just giving a salute of respect.
You know, for the fact that she didn't use straps, and absolutely. But there is the event winner, Rhiannon Lovelace.
And to be clear here, Loz, so you can drop the bar, unlike in, say, a world record attempt.
I think as long as the referee gives you the down signal, they're allowed to drop the bar. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the official Strongman Games. We are waiting for event number 4, the carry and drag. This is going to be an absolutely brutal one. But let me quickly go through the scores so far. In the under 64 kilo category, in first place we have Kate Connolly from England with 54 points, joint with Rhiannon Lovelace, also from England, 54 points. And in third place, Shannon Clifford, 51 points. We are about to start our under 64 kilos loading event. Sandbag, 175 pounds. Husafeld, 175 pounds, 80 kilos each. Load them onto the sled and then drag them all the way back. This is a brutal event. Quimby, Wong and Scott are our first 3 athletes. Nice fast footwork here. Loads the sandbag and she is sprinting back to get that Husafeld. So this is an awkward object. Need to get it up high on the chest. Going to try and sprint as quick as they can to load these into the sled. Now it's all about dragging this implement. Every ounce of energy you have. And you can see how heavy this is. The lady's really struggling to get this to budge.
The sled itself weighs over 400 pounds empty. Now they just added another 175
Quimby, Wong and Scott all struggling with this sled. It is a brutally heavy implement. And look at this. Radzi with 3 of our athletes currently. They sprinted through the first 2 sections, but this drag has slowed them all right down. It's absolutely brutal, giving everything they have.
The tough thing about the concrete is it's so inconsistent with its friction, so you can't get to a momentum and just keep it. It sometimes sticks, it sometimes holds you. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of lactic acid this evening.
This is going to be brutal.
So once attended a competition with Adam Bishop, his second ever competition, where half the field pulled the rope, pulled the handle, and then one bloke came along and just grabbed the sled and everyone went, ah.
Petchy, Helgeson, Funk and Concepcion, our next 4 athletes. Now all 4 of these ladies should have no issues with this sandbag. It's 80 kilos, so heavier than they are, but they are extremely strong athletes. The issue is going to come when it comes to that drag. That's where this event is going to be won and lost. Even being slow at the moment in lane 3 there, it's not too much of a concern for Gillian Funk. She just needs to make sure when she gets to that drag, she has lots of energy left.
Well, we know Gillian's got a good pair of lungs on her because she sang the national anthem yesterday.
She did indeed. Here we go. This group of athletes going very well here, keeping this sled moving. This is what you need to do. You need to keep that momentum going. Do not stop, even though your lactic acid is building up in the glutes, in the quads, in the hamstrings. He's screaming at you, it's burning. You've got to keep it moving. You don't want to come to that stop.
And that's exactly what's just happened.
Look at this. Lane 2 still going. Helgensen, almost across. She's nearly there. Are we going to see our first athlete finish? We do. We have a finisher. They just need to cross the line. The front end of that sled. Oh, so close.
That is painful. What an effort.
She's so close.
I'll tell you what, Loz, if we think these guys are strong, I mean, look at this here.
Oh, wow. You may not have seen that on camera, but she's almost collapsing with the exhaustion and the effort that she's put in.
And her partner, or someone that she obviously knows well, just came and just picked her up.
It's that real mental battle of, yes, I can keep going, I can keep pushing myself.
And events like this lend themselves better to people who've perhaps converted from CrossFit, more so than people that have come across from things like powerlifting or Olympic lifting.
You need to have that mindset of, I don't mind pain, I don't mind pushing myself to the limit.
Aldridge not far behind. All the sandbags into the sled simultaneously. As these u64 ladies.
Hannah, Siobhan, Antonia and Laurie are 4 athletes all on to the shield carry. A Husafell stone, which is a replica of the traditional Icelandic Husafell stone. Loadable, so we can change the weights for all these athletes.
And a good point that Aaron West just made there is the footwear.
Absolutely, you can see Siobhan there just slipping slightly.
And it is slightly dusty out there.
It is. And you may look at using different footwear in different situations. So maybe outdoors on some kind of like rougher concrete, you might look at using rock climbing boots or something like that. In here, I'd probably go for like a decent walking shoe. Probably avoid things like trainers and Converse and those type of shoes.
But I'll tell you what, Hannah Calderon is not giving up.
That was a good effort there, but it shows the impressive performances from our second heat.
I'll tell you what, their legs right now will be feeling in pieces.
Distance measured, each one of those implements counts as 50 feet. So the sandbag and the sled, their scorecard shows 50. The Husafell stone into the sled shows another 50. So automatically their score is a minimum of 100 feet. And they drag the sled. So the distance they drag the sled.
Focused face there of Chloe Brennan.
125 feet.
Amazing performance yesterday in the car walk. These are the type of events she likes as well. A real athlete.
It must be, you know, we talk about the nerves that you have before you compete. I think that comes from possibly a desire to do well. I think there'll be genuine nerves about how they're going to feel after this.
Yeah, obviously the nerves kick in. You know, if you care about something, and if it means something to you, it's natural to be nervous.
Is there a sense in this that people that do well will want it more than the others?
Absolutely. This event is all about heart and determination. You know, they've all got the ability to do this. It's how much you're willing to put yourself through, how much suffering you're willing to go through. Obviously, being smart, having the right, preparation, conditioning your body to do these type of events, that's extremely important. You don't just jump off the sofa and do it. But when it comes down to all these great athletes going head to head, this is about heart and want. You can be the strongest guy in the world in terms of bench pressing, squatting, deadlifting. That doesn't necessarily help you on an event like this if you're going to give up when it starts to hurt.
175 pounds in that sandbag.
All 4 ladies nice and fast.
She is sprinting in lane 3.
Look at that.
175 pounds in the anthem Husafell stone.
Like
Holly McRae just sprinting.
This all comes down to the drag. Now, who has got some energy left for this sled? Holly McRae looks like she's just about in the lead there.
40 seconds off the clock.
Absolutely, just stopping them in their tracks, this sled drag. Resorting to that shunting technique of kind of just pulling with everything you've got, using the arms, legs.
Chloe Brennan, you can see, just not managing to shift it whatsoever.
you really notice that their light body weight is not going to help in this. You mentioned about the Masters. The Masters will have a lot more body weight, which does help a little on these type of events.
3, 2, 1.
And it's just effort just to get a little further. Oh, she's angry with herself. I don't think she needs to be too disappointed. She's giving it everything she's got.
Yeah, Chloe Brennan, that's probably the first time we've seen her maybe underperform in the official Strongman Games 2021.
This is a real interesting event, Radzi, because you can train it on completely different surface, a different sled, and you may think, oh, it's going great. Until you try it on the day, you don't know how your preparations really, it's not like a barbell where it's standardized across every single gym that you go to. Every sled is different. The surface that you use is different. So that is a big factor when it comes to these type of events. You could train it in one gym, I could train it in the other. We think we've set it up exactly the same. But it doesn't matter whose performance was better in the gym. You need to know that people on the same equipment, that's when you know.
Lane 2, Clifford. Lane 3, Connolly. And lane 4.
Look at that. They were moving so quick on the first two implements. Look at this.
I'm going to be so interested to see how Rhiannon Lovelace gets on here, because we know how strong she is, especially in a deadlift movement. You'd think that would lend itself to something like a drag, but there's so much more to it than that.
It really doesn't, though. Being a great deadlifter is great for deadlifting, but it doesn't cross over to dragging a sled or pulling a truck and those type of, classic strongman events, shall we say.
Judges ready. Athletes ready. On the whistle.
So, nice and fast. Real fast pickup there by Rhea in lane number 4. She is absolutely rapid with this sled, this sandbag. Look how quick she is. Kristen on lane number 1 up fast with the Husafels. Shannon just a little further behind.
Lovelace, Clifford, Matthews, all.
Here we go. Now, how do they move this? This is where we see this event won and lost. Rhiannon attacking it with big, powerful pulls. Look at her, really being aggressive, trying to keep it moving. She has to keep using that shunting technique. Drives the legs down, pulls hard with the arms, and it's working well for her. But look, Shannon Clifford in lane number 2, I believe, coming through. Look at this, she's moving through. She's come from miles behind. She can take the lead in this heat. Nothing is stopping her. She's going. Keep going. Look at this. This is an amazing performance. She can get across. 10 seconds to go.
So close. So close.
Wow, what a comeback there by Shannon Clifford. Amazing performance. She was a full length behind going in to the Husafel carry, but when it came down to the drag, she'd put the work in. An incredible performance there by Shannon Clifford. And look what it's left her. She has given every ounce of energy she had into that performance.
There are only 3 women coming into this with more than 50 points, one of whom was Shannon Clifford. She, however, was in 3rd place. She's just beaten Connolly and Lovelace, the 2 women who were tied ahead of her.
And there, Paul Smith
carrying
her away like a hero.
There he is, across the threshold. That threshold is a lactic threshold in this case.
It's definitely a lactic threshold. That's why it's useful to have a strong man as your partner.
There he is, Big Paul. He's good at a front hold. We know why now.
Well, she put in an amazing effort for...
Kudos to our cameraman there for keeping them in shot for the entire route of that.
Look at that big smile on her face as well. She's in pain, but she's happy.
Oh my goodness gracious, what a performance.
And she was so far behind. It all came down to that drag. She didn't stop though once, just kept the sled moving.
Judges ready.
Hello and welcome back to day 3 of the official Strongman Games 2021. We are getting the action straight underway with the very footage we've got for you This is the Sandbag toss. We're going to bring you fully up to date with everything, all the scores, all the people that have made the top 10 final cut, all the weights, all the stories. But Loz, first of all, we're straight into the action.
We are straight into the action, and both these ladies going through these bags, no problem at all here. Joanne Mulligan onto the last bag. She just couldn't quite get that one over. Just need to really make sure they're fully extending on these throws.
So 30 pounds proving the difficult one for both ladies.
So Mulligan just needs to compose herself here. Petchy going for this second from last bag this week. So this run goes from 20 pounds, 20 pounds, 25 pounds, 25 pounds, 25 pounds, 30 pounds, and then the final one, if they get to it, is 35 pounds, 15.9 kilos.
And just a reminder that yesterday and the day before, we've had 4 events to get to this point. It culminated yesterday in the carry and drag, a brutal event, especially on the quads and the glutes. So these ladies, these athletes, from a fatigue standpoint, will be very tired. And to try and get power out of their legs, it's a tough ask.
It really is. That loading medley yesterday, that really took it out of the athletes. There was carnage backstage. We had athletes falling down all over the place, totally exhausted. It really was a brutal event. How have they recovered? They've had the whole evening to recover. They would have gone away, done what they can, but they're going to be feeling sore. It's now about how much I want to win this contest. You need to, how much heart have they got? How much determination?
Well, this is the under 64 women's. It was a big division. Lots of the actual weight categories have been big, but now we're down to the final 10. They're going in reverse order based on their performance of the carry and drag yesterday. So actually what we're probably going to see is the first athletes are possibly the ones with the most fatigue because they found that carry and drag the hardest. Here we go, 30.
And it's this 30-pound bag that is slowing these ladies down. We saw it in the first heat. It flew through the first 5 bags. No one so far has managed to get this 30-pound bag over the bar.
These bags, by the way, these Cerberus sandbags are great.
Have you ever had a go with them?
Never.
They are great fun, real fun event to do, but also one of those events that is so easy to mess up and make a mistake. It's an event where guaranteed winners are not really thought of beforehand because it just takes one little mistake. It's such an explosive movement as well to get through all.
Okay, so day one was a bit of a mix for me. The log didn't go my way. I knew it was close on whether I'd get a rep or not. Warm-ups felt really good, but I just couldn't pull it out of the bag, so I zeroed, but a lot of the class zeroed. I think only about 5 or 6 girls actually got any reps, so points-wise it didn't do too much damage. The yoke I won, which was amazing. It's like the highlight of my whole weekend. It was just fab, it felt amazing, it was a rush and I really enjoyed it. And then yesterday was a bit of a mixed bag. On the deadlift ladder I got the first 3 bars nice and quick. I think if I would have waited rather than going in for the 4th bar, I could have got it, but on reflection it wouldn't have made much difference on points anyway, so I can't kick myself. And the medley, I was clearly disappointed, but somehow I've managed to creep up into joint 5th going into finals, so today I'm just gonna go out, have fun, enjoy it. It'd be great to come 4th, so we have like a top 4 British group, but I'm just here for the fun now, relax, chill, enjoy it and see what happens.
So what are the last 2 events for you? Sandbag and stones?
Yeah, so Sandbag is one of those where I can do all the bags, but if you slip up on the first bag, it can ruin the whole event. So I'm just gonna take it slow and steady, aim to get all the bags rather than rushing through and making silly mistakes. And then the stones, again, should be a decent event for me. I just don't know how the other girls perform, so points-wise I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I'm just going balls to the wall today and we'll see what happens.
After the arena, she was already warming up with the sandbags. She looked so focused. She was pretty disappointed with herself after the carry and drag yesterday, and something tells me she's going to want to make amends here today. She's successfully made it through to the top 10 as you might have expected, but she is here for a very good performance.
Chloe's a great athlete. She did exceptionally well on the car walk on day 1. She's been a little up and down. As he said, a little bit disappointed in some of her performances.
She is quite close to the bar. We're seeing 2 very different styles here.
She's a lot more methodical. Every bag going over though. Knows what she's doing.
Here's
this
the 30 pound bag.
one. This is the one that so far we haven't seen go over.
Oh!
Just onto the top of the bar. Did not go the way she wanted it to. I've seen that stop on that top platform.
Oh, well done.
And go over, but she's composed herself and she gets the 30-pound bar. 35 pounds. Oh.
Do they have time to get it? Do they have time?
Both athletes on the last bag. And it's a cruel event, Radzi, because as I said, you drain your power very quickly on this event and every bag gets heavier. So by the time you're exhausted, that's when you're doing the heaviest one. I'm sure fresh, they could throw that 35-pound bag, no problem at all.
Also, they've got that slight decision to make about how far do they run backwards with the sandbag. So they're almost pre-fatiguing before they're going.
You really need to time that as well. You've got to be well trained. It's one thing throwing the bag high enough, but to get the trajectory to go over the bar, that's the skill. You know, I've seen people throw the bags more than high enough, but if it doesn't go over, it doesn't count. So you need to be well trained, well prepared for this type of event.
So McRae, I believe, the fastest so far to get all bar one bag. Blimey.
Nice and powerful. Going for a sideways hold of the bag.
Ah, yes.
You see there, plenty of height on that throw for Connolly, but it wasn't going over.
The 30-pound bag really is a sticking point.
Needs to explode. Oh.
Looks like the power has been sapped.
Both athletes managed 5 bags.
Oh!
Connolly there just missing out.
I'm going to put it out there. We could have a situation where a bag sits on top of the bar.
I've seen it happen before. It's not impossible.
What would happen then? Does that count?
Then Darren Sadler comes out with a big pole. No, it has to go over. That is the rule. If it just balances on top, it's no lift.
I'm Rhiannon Lovelace. I'm 25 years old and I am from Wales. So previous titles, I am 3 times Britain's Strongest Woman and I actually won the 2018 Under 64 World's Strongest Woman. So far the events we've had Deadlift, which was a nice win, 3rd consecutive year of winning that. We won the log press as well, and then we came 3rd in the yoke and 3rd on the medley. So far this year has been the toughest year by a mile. The margin of error is non-existent. The girls have really, really brought their A game. Today we have sandbag toss and stones. I'm confident. Obviously we're sore, we're stiff, it's day 3, but it's all going to be about who can fight till the end. Currently we are in 1st place. Pretty strong events, so these girls are going to really have to bring it if they want to knock me off. Today we've got sandbag toss. I fancy my chances. I think I'm one of the best tossers in the world. So it's going to be about holding myself together, staying focused, making sure my technique is efficient, and hopefully not getting too distracted. And then we have Atlas stones. I do hold the world record for stones, so I need to make sure that my speed and my efficiency is there as well as my strength. But we are 1 point in the lead right now, so I back myself.
I believe we had 4 and 5 with our last 2 athletes. So these are our 2 current leaders, Rhiannon Lovelace on 35 points and Shannon Clifford on 34 points. Can't separate these 2. They've been battling out all weekend.
Rhiannon has come jogging out. We know how strong she is, especially in the deadlift. How will she fare in the throwing event?
I think Shannon will believe she's got a chance on this. She's tall, she's an athletic figure. Both athletes launching that first sandbag miles over. Oh! Both of them flying here. Rhiannon looking very powerful.
And a 6th bag for Rhiannon. Can she be the first person to get all 6 bags over the bar here today?
Shannon just needs to extend a little more. She's a tall figure. She can use that height to her advantage. She's just not driving all the way up, releasing a little too early.
Oh! We saw how dominant she was in the carry and drag yesterday and how much that must have taken out of her. Paul Smith, in fact, lifted her out of the arena afterwards.
She gave everything on that event. Rather than extending, using that height, she's really overstretching, throwing the bag into the platform rather than going up and over. You want to get that big arch, it flies up and just goes over. That was really powerful there by Rhiannon Lovelace, and that's big, big points because Shannon was her closest rival.
So Holly McRae and Chloe Brennan, the only 2 athletes to successfully get 5 bags over. No one managed to get all 6. We'll be bringing you the results now. Loz, should we talk about some of the other categories? Because we now know...
We have to. We've got so many close battles going on in the different classes. Every class has been whittled down to 10 athletes now, the best 10 of the weekend.
At the minute I'm in 2nd place. I think I'm around 4 points behind first. Things haven't gone as well as I wanted. I've had a bit of a back injury, so that's affected me, but I'm in a good position, do what I can on stones, and hopefully it pays off.
How have the earlier events gone for you?
Deadlift didn't go. Well, I got what I wanted on deadlift in terms of my injury. In warm-up I was really struggling with 40 kilos and I was about to pull out of a comp. I managed to get it done. I got the 2nd to last bar of 197, which gave me 3rd place overall. So I've kept with the standings where I needed in each event.
What's been your favourite event so far?
They all hurt. I don't think I have one. Hopefully stones.
Yeah. I thought you were going to
Oh yeah, good point. I struggled with the hoops without Sandbag because my back I couldn't bend down, but the drag itself went really well, so I was happy with that.
Around to the front.
And how are
objective? I'll make it very clear for you. Tacky goes
on. Stones a good event for you?
Stones is usually a really good event for me. Hopefully my back holds out and it'll pay off. I'll get good points on it.
After we leave here today.
Thank you.
How are you feeling on your last event?
Mixed emotions. I'm 1 point off 4th, so if I pull it out the bag, it could be top 4 British girls. So that's what I want. But I just need to go enjoy it, 1 stone at a time, do the thing, and hopefully it'll be enough.
Is the podium out of reach this year?
Yeah, so it's all for 4th place now.
How would you assess your performance this weekend?
Mixed, but I'm just going to focus on this now. We'll worry about the rest of it later.
Is stones a good event for you?
Yeah, can be.
Do you know what the weights of these stones are?
Yes, it starts at 68 and finishes at 125, so I'd like to get the 115 up. And if the 125 goes, that would be...
And your best stone's on 20, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, all right. Good luck. What are the official Strongman games so far?
It's been absolutely brilliant. Obviously, it's my first time here. It's amazing to see so many incredible athletes. Sorry, look at the camera, not you.
Into the camera, yeah.
To see so many awesome athletes that, for the most part, we haven't even heard of. Some of the lighter weight classes are so impressive. So impressive.
What's been the most impressive thing you've seen so far this weekend?
A combination, so many things. Tommy Lavelle's bag toss, Inez on the log, Rhiannon's deadlift. It's such a blur. It's been such an action-packed few days. I can't remember everything. I'm going to forget someone's amazing performance. Mark Felix on the car wall. So Drunis rolling back the years on the bag toss as well. Reminded me of 2013 Europe's Strongest Man. It's just such a cool place to be with a great atmosphere and just so many really nice people.
Who are you hoping is going to pull out the win today?
In which category?
Well, you tell me. Any categories you got your eyes on for the win?
I would really love to see Inez win the Opens Women. She's actually quite new to the sport and she's such a great character. I just think she'd be really good for the sport. Rhiannon, she's worked so hard these last few days, and she's just so supportive of everyone. She's really great, so I'd be happy to see her win. I wanted Mark Felix to win. That's looking unlikely now, but I'd be really happy to see Zydrunas win, because I think a lot of people thought that maybe that wasn't possible this year. Obviously he's suffered with a few injuries, so it'd be great to see him take the win as well. I wanted Nicholas Camby to win the 105s as well, because he's a great character. I like the characters. I like to be entertained.
It's gonna come down to the final showdown on stones for the 105. He's a half a point off first place.
Yeah, it's going to be so close. And Lloyd, who he's going to be up against, is apparently excellent at stones also. So it's going to be nerve-wracking stuff.
Yeah, can't wait.
Welcome back to day 3, the finals of the official Strongman Games 2021. We have seen 5 events so far, 5 events which have culminated in a top 10 being decided, 5 events which have resulted in drama across the board in all weight categories. In some of these categories, it is on an absolute knife edge. We're going to kick off with the women's under 64 kilogram category in the Atlas Stones, the final event of the last 72 hours. But just generally, Loz, should we talk about what we've got to look forward to, because this is dramatic.
We have some exceptionally close contests coming up. I mean, the under 64, Rhiannon Lovelace has really put herself in a strong position. She's really stretched herself away from the chasing pack. It's all on her now. I really see her defending her title.
And the title will be determined in the women's under 64 kilogram category, and they are getting underway right now with Joelle Pesci and Joanne Mulligan.
Platform height is 54 inches. Stone number 2 is 175 pounds. Mulligan and Pesci both up and onto the platform.
2 stones up there for Mulligan. Pesci onto the 3rd one, goes up nicely. These are high platforms for these girls.
Mulligan looking for stone number 3 up there. She's done it.
You know, these are the same platforms they have for all categories. So they're designed really for the open men.
Yeah, it's really tough this. The same will be true with the men's under 80. You've got someone like Dean McVie, quite small by comparison to some of the other guys in terms of height. So to get it this high, it's almost like seeing Yuko Akala back in 1997.
15 seconds. Under 10.
So they are both on to stone number 5. 6 stones in this run. 150 pounds, 175 pounds, 200, 225, 250. Finally, the 275 pound stone. That's 124.7 kilos. And I think I've mentioned this to you before, but I remember when stones first appeared in World's Strongest Man, the heaviest stone was 140 kilos. That was the likes of Bill Kazmaier lifting these weights.
Right.
Jean-Paul Sigmarsson. These were big, muscled, strong men, some of the strongest men we've ever seen. And these women are being asked to lift just shy of that.
And also, when you think back then, that was their body weight they were lifting. Whereas these women are lifting significantly more than their body weight.
The first stone weighs more than they do.
Right. Well, that says everything, doesn't it? Yeah, that really says absolutely everything. I have to say, the organisation of this entire event has been really sublime. The guys, that's Joe Schofield, who's tirelessly filmed live shots of all the competition here. He'll be going off actually over the course of the next couple of weeks and filming a number of the strongmen, filming Evan Singleton in his stomping ground, and a few of the other guys as well, Troy Mitchell. Besides, to tell the stories behind the athletes.
Cauldron here, closest to the camera.
Tony V on his stone number 3, 200 pounds, going up to a 50-inch platform. Cold iron good on her 3rd stone.
Finding a slight sticky point here.
Tony with 225 to the front lip of the platform.
I think that's the real challenge of the height. Because it doesn't seem an issue of holding it, of getting it up, but actually getting it high enough.
Making sure you train to high platforms. This is something you've really got to make sure you're doing back home. You know, it's one thing lifting a stone, but you've got to make sure you're lifting it to the height of the platforms that you're going to be lifting in competition. Always train to higher platforms. Make training harder so that competing is easier.
I tell you what, though, you can see the weight of it, because as soon as those stones get dropped, you can see the cameras actually shaking on the shot.
I can assure you these stones are heavy.
And by the way, these stones look awesome. Brand new, by the looks of things.
Bring out our third pairing of
Yeah, unique colour to the stones.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So Matthews versus Brennan. I was going to say only 1 point separating them, but that's incorrect. It's Holly McRae in 4th place, who is 1 point ahead of Chloe Brennan. So she'll be looking to put in a solid performance here on the stones and give herself a chance of getting into the top 4.
And Chloe Brennan has really put in some stellar performances. I mentioned earlier she was disappointed after her carrying drag. That was the only real performance where you thought possibly could have done a little bit better. But she's a name, and her star is very much rising in the UK when it comes to strongwomen.
Well, the standard of under 64 kilo athletes in the UK right now is just mental.
Here we go. Chloe Brennan and Christine Matthews go head to head. England versus USA.
Both ladies, no problem with 150 pounds. Nicely done. Chloe moving nicely through the first 3 stones. On to number 4. Gets it up to a lap, no problem at all. Arms readjust, they go over the top. Drives through with the hips, rolls the stone up her body. Good solid lift for both ladies. They are on to the 5th stone. 250 pounds now. And Matthews loads it. Are we going to see the first lady to do all 6 stones?
Here we go.
Chloe has managed to lap that 250 pound stone.
Go on, Chloe. Oh, well done. Well done.
And she gets it.
Really committed with the hips.
Well done.
Yes.
5 stones for each of those ladies.
And that, for me, that marks the end of their competition. That marks the end of the official Strongman Games. That marks the end of a really grueling, tiring 72 hours of competition where they can finally breathe a big sigh of relief. The bit you didn't see on camera then was a Karate Kid, little Daniel. I can't think of his surname.
Daniel-san.
What was his name? Daniel
LaRusso.
Thank you, Daniel LaRusso. A cheeky Daniel LaRusso kick. Wax on, wax off. Now they can take their tacky off.
Yeah, when you finish a show, it's just a relief. It's a nice feeling. Your body's feeling it. You know, even if you're not in contention to win the title, just to finish strong.
They've just competed at World Championships.
There's no bigger, platform for these ladies to compete in right now. This is the biggest it gets, World Championships. And we want to see this sport grow for these different weight classes. More people watching, bigger audiences.
And I have to say as well, when I worked at the Arnolds, and Rhiannon Lovelace was there, and she wanted to put on a show, and said, I want to try and pull 20 reps on the deadlift. She got to 14 and said, I've got to save myself. Just because I've got big stuff, I've got big fish to fry. She was talking about this because this is the big one.
Yeah, becoming a world champion is what it's all about. No one can ever take that away from you. It's great to break records, always nice, but if you can win that world championships, it will always go down in history as the 2021 world champion.
And you'll be the one on the list when you see that break. So it'll say 2020 did not happen.
Yeah.
2021, you'll be next to that history mark.
McRae lifting 5 stones. She's got time to get this. Come on, McRae. Big effort on this last one. 15 seconds. Our timer, a little bit off on screen there. Ooh.
Bruno Mars playing in the background. Often people mistake me for Bruno Mars.
I can see why.
You wouldn't mistake my bank balance, that's for sure.
What about your voice?
Yeah, that neither. Yeah. Although it turns out strongman and singing can go hand in hand. Gillian Funk, beautiful performance of the national anthem, which Friday seems weeks ago now.
It really does. It's been a long weekend. Some amazing action that we've seen. But it almost seems like so long ago, Friday, with those first 2 events.
It does.
It's been a long weekend, obviously, for the athletes. They are feeling it. They are tired and battered. Some of the athletes suffering injuries, unfortunately, always the nature of the beast. But the athletes that are sore, they are battling hard to win titles. Here we have Shannon Clifford and Rhiannon Lovelace.
Here we go.
Top two athletes from the weekend. Rhiannon, you know she wants to put on a show. You know she wants to lift all these stones, and she is an exceptional stone lifter.
I think she's going to lift all of these stones.
I do too. I think we're going to see, you know, finish strong, show us why you are the world champion.
We saw her jog out to the sandbag toss. We're seeing her walk out with a purpose now. She wants this title.
She really does. She's such a determined young lady. Loves the sport, does a lot to give back for Strongwoman. But she is such an exceptional athlete, incredible deadlifter, and I'd say stones are probably her second favourite event behind the deadlift. Now, a little slip there, she needs to compose. Just a slip from the tacky. She'll really clamp in tight on this and she'll be okay. Shannon Clifford going really well though, through these first four.
And that bit of extra height for Shannon really helping and paying dividends here.
You may find that Rhi will actually cope better with the heavier stones that are a little bit lower. Just having a little issue with her tacky. Shannon on the last stone there. Now Lovelace needs to get this. I was bigging up her stones, but this is not the best performance I've seen from her on Atlas stones. Has she got time to get this fifth stone?
Well, she had a 4-point lead going into this.
What happens there? This could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be very interesting. I think she's safe, but I'm not sure. Because 4 points. So we saw 4 stones lifted by Rhiannon Lovelace, 5 stones by Shannon, Chloe, and Christine. And now here's the big question. With Joanne and Joelle, how quick were they? But what I was going to say is, I wonder, we've seen her at feats of strength do things as a single stone.
Single lift, very, very different to the end of a long, tiring, brutal competition.
And also, you're not having to worry about tacky getting removed on the previous stones. You're not having to transition, you're not having to be mobile.
I'm a little bit confused as to what's going on now. Hannah Cold Iron is going again. Apparently there was an equipment malfunction for Cold Iron and she has been given a second attempt. And if she gets this stone up, this could be bad news for Rhiannon.
This is big! Can she? Oh, just running out of time. What a shame, because how much that will have taken out of her going into this.
And she would have had to do 7 events in total this weekend.
Yeah. And the winner overall, after that incredible result in the carry and drag and in the stones, is Shannon Clifford. Shall I go and tell her the news?
Shannon Clifford, go and do it, Radzi. Go tell her the news. Our under 64 kilo world champion, and Radzi is there just showing her the scores now. She knows it. It's been confirmed. Shannon Clifford is our 2021 under 64 kilo strongest woman on the planet. Congratulations to that young lady there.
Now, I've got to come clean here. What I actually said to her was, I walked over and I said it was close, Shannon, but unfortunately you are the world champion. And she just burst into tears.
We just saw it on camera there as well. Wow. Look at that face. She just can't contain it.
And that is what this is all about.
And this is what I mean by you never...
And your U64 world champion from England, Shannon Clifford.